Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tibby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to the rod of my leg. It is my leg's birthday. Happy birthday to the rod of my leg. I'm so honored to have you all here. I'm so honored that you came to this birthday celebration for my leg. I cannot believe it has been 1 year since I broke my leg. And this is your first time listening to the podcast. Welcome. I don't ever sing because I have a horrible voice, but something about me is I love to sing. It's my favorite pastime, and I'm really bad at it. Like, I am extremely bad at singing. Everyone in my life knows I'm bad at singing. This has been something that has been known about me for my entire life, but I sing all the time. My child often tells me, "Mama, don't sing. Stop singing, Mama. No, Mama, don't sing." Because he's a grown-up now who says full sentences, and he's not even 2, but he is saying full sentences. But he'll tell me, "Mama, don't sing." And he'll put his hand up, and he'll be like, "No, Mama, don't sing." So that's really fun. But I do sing all the time, but never on the podcast because it sounds like that. Anyways, happy birthday, Tibby. It has been 1 year since I had this rod put into my leg. And while it may not seem like a big deal to other people, maybe it does. It is a massive deal to me, and it changed my entire life. And there is now a foreign object in my leg, and I want to talk about it. But that's not the whole episode, don't worry, because I'm also going to talk about how we have boundaried a little too close to the sun. I'm just going to hold your hand while I say this, that our need for, quote, boundaries sometimes gets in the way of us doing nice things for people. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm also so excited because it is my close personal friend, Claudia Oshray. She just announced she's pregnant, which is so fun. She's not my close personal friend, but it's all I can think about. It's all I can talk about. Me and Thomas watched her vlog while I was sitting in the car, and we were both crying because we're so excited for her. And we just love new babies in this world. I am so happy about it. We also want other kids. And so just seeing the excitement of somebody else being pregnant is just the greatest thing. I've watched her vlog probably twice now. It's so good. And I'm just so happy that there are more children coming into the world. And I hope to bring more of my own children into the world one day. But I am just so excited to see that happen, and it's just so fun. So that's what I've been doing. That's all I've been doing this past 2 days is just watching that vlog and thinking about Claudia being pregnant. That is literally on my notes, on my outline for the podcast, life updates. My close personal friend, Claudia Oshray, is pregnant. And she's, like I said, literally not a close personal friend, but I've been a Patreon member for as long as I can remember. And so I feel like she is. Anyways, it is 1 year of me breaking my leg, and I can't believe it. I can't believe we're here. I do, in fact, remember saying that catch me 1 year after breaking my leg, I'm going to have ran a 5K. Yeah, I'm absolutely not running a 5K. Turns out to run a 5K, you probably need to train for a 5K, which means you probably have to get up early and run in the mornings. And that is not part of my life. That's not who I am. It's not in my DNA. That's just not me. And so I am not running a 5K this Thanksgiving like I thought I was going to, but it's fine. We're here. If you have not been around for the broken leg, I'll just give you some backstory. So on November 19th last year, we were going to my parents' house, and we had just pulled up into my parents' driveway, and it was probably 8:30ish at night. And something we always do is we let my dog out of the car because he's just going to run into the house. He's not going to go in the yard or run away. He's going to run straight to my parents' house. He loves my parents. He's obsessed with them. And so I get out of the car, I've got Tate, and I'm walking up to my front door at my parents' house. And Thomas lets Theo out like he always does. And for context, he's an 80-pound golden retriever, and he's fast. He is fast. And he took off, and before Thomas had any moment to tell me to watch out, he had ran into the back of my legs. And he was just going so hard to get to my parents. He just had tunnel vision and didn't see anything in his way. And he ran straight into me, and Tate was on my right side. And so I fell, leaned towards my left side so I could protect my child. And my leg instantly broke. when I fell, I knew 100%. I was like, okay, I just broke my leg, but I did not know that I had broken my leg in two places and my ankle. So I was unaware of that, but I like could see I'm not going to get in details. I could see the bone. It was not out of my leg, but I was like, oh, my leg's broken. And thankfully Tate hit the ground, but he hit the ground in the like mulch area. And it just really scared him. So he just like cried and screamed. My dad was literally 2 seconds away from the door. Like, he was so close to the door, and it's like I fell and he had opened the door. Like, that's how close he was to being here. And so I immediately picked Tate up, gave Tate to him, and he like gave Tate to my mom, and Theo went inside and they shut the door. And I'm sitting out here and I'm just like, my leg's broken. And I'm not joking. The very first thing that came to my mouth was, we will never financially recover from this. I was like, we cannot afford a leg break. Like, that was my immediate stress at the moment, was that we can't afford a leg break. So I am not even crying. I'm not even crying because fun fact about me is that I was on Zoloft at this time, which is going to play a big part into what I'm talking about today. Is I was on Zoloft, and I really think that the Zoloft saved my life in more ways than I can understand, because I was so, during this process, I don't feel like I fully like felt the depth in it, like deep into my soul, me breaking my leg. And I have since processed it a lot, and it's something I think about every single day. Like, not a day goes by that I don't think about my broken leg, mostly because it still hurts. Not like really intensely pain, but if couple episodes ago I talked about how I got something loose in my leg. So like, I'm still dealing with some pain, but I was like, I just broke my leg. I didn't even cry. I couldn't believe it. I cried in the ambulance, but I was just like, I just broke my leg. And my dad's like, what should we do? I was like, we got to go to the hospital. And he's like, okay. I'm like, no, we need to call 911. So they call the police. They send an ambulance. My mom like peeks her head through the door and is like, Tate's 100% fine. He's playing, acting like nothing ever happened. So I was like really happy about that. But I immediately went into like, how do I prepare my breastfed only child to stay with my parents for however long? Because at this point I had no idea what it was going to look like. And so I immediately tell Thomas, I'm like, I need you to call Caroline, tell her I broke my leg. I need Caroline to do the research for the formula, because I need to give Tate formula, but I need to know what formula to give my mom. And like, I need it to be good formula. I mean, which sounds terrible, I guess. I don't know. I just was like, she knew that I cared very deeply about what he ingested in his body. I think at this point I was still like making his food. I mean, now all he eats is frozen chicken nuggets, so I don't really know why I cared so much, but I was just like so stressed about him having to use formula. And so I was like, call Caroline, tell her what formula. She'll know that I want a good formula. So like, tell her to look up formula and send it to my mom. And so he called Caroline, and Caroline had just given birth. Not even, or right at a month. So her son Conrad was 1 month old the next day. So he was not even a month old. And Thomas calls her and is like, hey, so Hanna broke her leg. And he's like freaking out. Like, he's not okay. He's like, Hanna broke her leg. And Caroline's like, oh my God, what? What are you, like, what? She broke her leg? Are you kidding me? Like, what are you talking about? Like, she just like couldn't believe it. And he was like, I need you to figure out the formula, because Tate's going to have to be with her parents for a couple days. And so I was just like, we have to figure out those details. We called Caroline. She's on the formula train, figuring that out for us. And then I was like, okay, I know I'm going to the hospital, and I want to go to Augusta because Augusta's better than Aiken. And I want to go to Augusta, and I need Nicole to get there. So Thomas calls my best friend Nicole, who lives in Augusta. And he was like, hey, so Hanna broke her leg and she like needs you to come to the hospital. And Nicole was like, excuse me? Like, she couldn't believe it. She was on a prayer call and she was like, what is happening? And so I'm laying there just like, we will never recover from this. I'm not okay. My leg is broken. I'm starting to feel pain because the adrenaline is wearing off, and I can't believe what's happening to me. I cannot believe my leg is broken right now. I was looking at my dad and I was like, will I ever walk again? Like, is that going to happen? And I was saying every curse word under the sun, like truly. Like, I don't cuss much, like, but that's all I could get out of my mouth at that point. I was just like saying every word. My dad was looking at me like, I've never heard her speak like this in my life. Like, because I don't talk like that. But I was just like, what is happening? We are big Formula One fans, as you know. And we we're going to watch the race that night, and we don't like to be spoiled, but I was accidentally spoiled. And something about Thomas is he will not tolerate being spoiled, the Formula One race. But I knew what had happened, and I had begged him. I was like, please let me tell you, please let me tell you, please let me tell you. It's a big deal. And he was like, no, no, no. So I break my leg, and a couple minutes later, I was like, Charles Leclerc won the race. And I just like told him. I don't really know why. I just was like, I was not myself at that point, okay? And I was also wrong. Charles Leclerc did not win that race. I think Max won that race. But anyway, I was just like freaking out. The ambulance gets there. They take me to the hospital. There's just a lot of little details. But throughout all of this, the one time I did cry was I was in the ambulance being driven to the hospital, and I was in so much pain. Also, the EMTs that got there did not have any pain medicine with them. So that was really fun. So they had to call their like superior to bring the pain medicine to them. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, how are you an EMT here at my house right now? And I don't have pain medicine. Like, I don't have drugs. Like, where are the drugs? I am desperate for the drugs. I need the drugs. And I was just like, I know I'm breastfeeding, but we'll just figure this out. Like, we're just going to figure it out later. Like, I need these drugs. And so they have to call somebody else. They finally can give me the drugs. But I am in pain like no other. Like, even thinking about it right now, I literally feel like I could throw up. I need to stop. Oh my gosh. I could literally I got to stop. So I'm like in the ambulance, and I'm telling the girl, I'm like, I need you to like give me some more medicine, because she only has like a certain ratio she was allowed to give me. And so she called somebody, got approval. They gave me some more. We get to the hospital. Oh, but while I'm in the ambulance, what I was saying, while I was in the ambulance, what worship song was I singing? I can't remember, but I was just like singing a worship song to myself because I was just so terrified. Number one, I was terrified. I had no idea what was to come. I was terrified, and I was so sad, and I was just like, my entire life is about to change. Like, I broke my leg, like a massive bone. At that point it was my tibia, but I didn't know that's what it was called. And so I broke my tibia. Like, that's a huge bone to break in your leg, the lower leg, it's broken. And I just like couldn't believe it. And I was so upset, and I was crying in the ambulance, and I was like, okay, I cried one other time on Zoloft, but that's it. And that was when another influencer I follow was pregnant. Like, I'm an empath, okay? I'm just kidding. I'm not. I don't like people use that term. It was a joke. I was just so like distraught though that my leg was broken. And that's the only time I've cried about my broken leg. That's the only time. That is the only time. And that is so crazy. And it's because I was on Zoloft. So I end up having surgery, and they put a titanium rod in my leg. And while they're putting this titanium rod in my leg, I'm just like, do I have any? I don't even at that point have like the wherewithal to ask if there's any other option. I'm just like, okay, everyone was telling me what was happening to me. Like, I felt like I didn't have any choice at all. And it was nothing of the doctor's fault. Like, nothing about them was like making me feel this way. I just was like, wait, everything is happening to me at one time. It's happening now. And I'm just like unwell about it. Like, I don't know what's going on, or I don't feel like I can make my own choices. And there was also a miscommunication with the doctor about my medicine. So I have surgery, I get off surgery, and I get the titanium rod in my leg because it turns out I broke my tibia, my fibula, and my ankle. And so there's nothing they can do about the fibula. It's just broken. But the tibia, they put a titanium rod in, which is why it's named Tibby, because I just needed to give it a name. And I have so many screws in my leg. I have this massive rod. I like don't even know what they look like. It's just in my leg. And I go into surgery, and I talk to the doctor, and I'm like, hey, so I'm breastfeeding, and that's like, my child is not taking this formula. Like, for real, Tate would not drink the formula. My mom was giving him food, but like, he was not drinking the formula because he's not a formula baby. And I was just like, I need to be able to pump. So can you tell me what medicine or I can take and it be safe to pump? And he just took that as, you don't need to have any medicine at all. And so he cut me off. So I didn't have pain medicine after my surgery for, I don't know, 8 hours maybe. It was insane. And the thing about medicine is that in the hospital after kind of surgeries, they want to be ahead of it and not have to chase the pain. So they want to give you medicine ahead of time, so when it runs out, you're already like you've already got the next dose, because they always said they didn't want to, quote, chase the pain. Well, I was chasing some kind of like pain relief for hours, and they kept giving me medicine. So he didn't give me medicine for a while. Then we talk about it, and they finally give me some more medicine. They actually give me medicine. I talked to a lactation consultant. She's like, you can use whatever. So I use whatever they give me, and it was like every dose or every high like pain med that you can think of, none of them worked. None of them worked. So I was just in immense pain for probably months after that. So after I got out of surgery, I was never without pain until probably February, I would say, is when the really intense pain kind of wore off, when I could actually kind of walk a little bit normal. I would say the pain didn't fully go away until probably, I don't know, August maybe. And even then, like, I still have pain when I walk. So like I can say that I'm pain free, but I shouldn't say I'm pain free. I should say my pain level is probably at a 2 every single day, because I can still feel it. And if I'm moving it, it hurts. And what does make this a little bit tricky is that it would probably feel a lot better and not hurt if I actually worked out. But, again, where's the time? I got to figure it out. I got to start doing it. But all that's to say is I spent a lot of my child's, like, from year 1 to 2 on the couch. I couldn't move. I was at my parents' house for a month, which I was only supposed to be there for, like, a night. I was there for a month. And everybody had to take care of me. My sister was giving me baths. Thomas was giving me baths. My mom was basically the full caretaker for my child, like pretty much fully took care of him. Like I didn't do anything. I breastfed him. That's it. Whenever he was hungry, I put him on the boob, and that's it, because I couldn't do anything. I was in so much pain. I just laid around all day. And I was in so much pain. And then because I'd already taken a week off of work. And so when I tried to start work again, that was really hard, because I mentally was struggling so much because my leg was in so much pain. And I was just like not creative because nothing was working. And so I basically sat with no thoughts in my brain for, I don't know, till February, maybe March, for months. 4 months. And that was because I couldn't really walk. I didn't start walking until a couple months after the surgery, like really walking. I was in a boot for a long time, and y'all know the drama with the boot. We're not even going there. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And I wanted to record this episode today with it being the year since I broke my leg, and really talk about, I wanted to like give the backstory, but I really want to talk about the people who jumped in and helped me when my leg was broken. Because I think since 2020, COVID like fundamentally changed who we are, fundamentally changed how we operate, how we do things. I was just on Instagram asking my followers if I can bring cookies to my neighbors, like, because I'm so like, can we do that in 2020? Are you going to take something from a stranger? What? Like, it just really changed who we are as a world. And I just have seen people online, and I've heard other people talking about how, like, for example, someone will post like, oh, my, mother-in-law or my friend wants to come meet the baby. And I just like, don't want to see anybody. No. Like, I don't want any help. I want to be in my cocoon, basically kind of like rejecting community. And now hear me. If you have a toxic friend, a toxic mother-in-law, like, that's not what I'm talking about. But I just see, it feels like post after post, people like rejecting the idea of community in the sake of like, I want to protect my boundaries, protect my peace. But it's like, you need people to be there for you. And in the moment, it may feel like, okay, that's too hard to have like people come over to my house. But then once they come and get there, it's like actually refreshing to have people there with you and celebrating with you and being there for you and helping you. And so I feel like out of, maybe fear or just like needing, boundaries, they're like, oh, I don't want anybody. And I feel like I've seen that amongst our community, our communities, not my community, like the big world. Like, I feel like I've seen that, I see people post about it all the time. And I just think that we have boundary too close to the sun. I think we have put too many up. And hear me, if you've been a listener of this podcast, I am for boundaries. I do not think boundaries are bad. I think boundaries are so important. You gotta have boundaries. But I think we can push them a little too much, where we're starting to reject community, reject help. And it is so important to ask for help when you need it. And I just look back at the time with my leg break with so much fondness because I had so many people around me helping and do so much. Like I said, my mom took care of me and my child for a month because Thomas had to come back here to work. So he was going back and forth from work to home, work to home. People offered to take care of our dog. People offered to bring meals. People offered to stay with me. Like there were so many times I had to ask Caroline, I'm like, hey, Thomas has to go work, today. Can you come sit at the house with me? Because I couldn't take care of Tate on my own. I had to have somebody there. I could not do anything by myself because I was Tate's full caretaker and I couldn't take care of him. My mother-in-law stayed with us separately, I think maybe for 2 weeks total, maybe even longer, maybe 3 weeks. It's such a blur because I had to have somebody with me all the time. I could not be by myself. And so it was really hard. It was really hard, but so I look back on that time though with such fondness because my church community was taking care of me. My friends are taking care of me. People were sending so many kind messages, so many kind thoughts, like offering to help. And it just really made me think how appreciative I am of people going out of their way to do something nice. And I know that there have been times in my own personal life where I have talked myself out of doing something nice for somebody because I'm like, oh, maybe they don't want me to intrude. Maybe it's too much for them, or maybe it's going to stress them out if I ask them to bring them dinner. Like there's just been times where I've gotten in my head, I'm like, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to be too pushy. So I'm just going to like not do this. When in reality, the times that people have done that for me have been so helpful, like truly so helpful. And so something I've been really trying to do this past like half of the year has been really investing in the people in my community. Like if someone's in the hospital, I'm going to the hospital or I'm bringing them a meal. Like I'm trying to check in on my friends who have babies. I'm not perfect, and I'm really not perfect, and I'm not doing this for everybody as much as I wish that I could, but like I'm trying to show up for people. I'm trying to text when I think about them. I'm trying to, offer a meal when I can. When someone's hurt, I'm jumping in because I just know how much it helped me in my time of need, and I want to give back. And so I've been thinking about that a lot with the holiday season, and just want to encourage you just to be as generous as you can. And this year I've been really excited because I've actually feel like I have really good ideas about gifts for people, and I'm trying to gift, to my family because like there's been a couple years where we have not had a single dime. So like nobody has gotten gifts, but now having a child, you can be really creative with your Christmas gifts because you can just, kid can paint a picture or make a homemade gift and you're sold. I'm just really trying to lean into being the kindest person that I can be, the most generous person I can be. And even if it's not with money, if it's just time, like trying to help people when they need it and offering to babysit for your friends, offering to help out with a date night, like that is really game changing and something that we've started doing within our friend group. Actually, we've been doing it for a year now, so it's not we've started, but like every other week we take turns at someone's house, someone's cooking and they're hosting. So like every other week we're at my house or we're at our best friend's house, and that's just a way to like spend time together and have it in your calendar and also lighten the load for a night. Like you don't have to cook because you're going to someone else's house and they're cooking for you, and we just swap houses and it's great and it's so helpful. And I'm pretty sure like they hosted for a long time, or they like came over for a long time and helped with like cooking and stuff because I couldn't. So it really is helpful. And I just fear that we really have like stopped doing nice things for people because we don't want to bother them. And I think we should be bothering people. If somebody tells you like, hey, this is too much, like don't do this, like obviously respect that. But I think it can go a long way to do something nice for somebody. And rather than ask like, hey, what can I do for you? I think suggesting like, hey, I want to bring you dinner one night this week. What night works best for you, Monday or Wednesday? And hey, I'm bringing this meal. Does this meal work or do you have any allergies? I think just setting the tone of like, I'm going to do this is helpful rather than just being like, oh, I'm here for you. Whenever you need, I'm here for you. Because you often don't want to ask for help. And the other part of this I want to talk about is the asking for help. Because if my leg break taught me anything, it's that you have to ask for help. And you shouldn't feel bad for having to ask for help. Because I know there are people in your life who want to help you if you'll give them the opportunity. I know there are people in your life who want to show up for you if you tell them what's going on. But if they don't know, they can't help. So just asking for help is so important. And it doesn't make you, any kind of way or seem weak or anything like that. If anything, it's just like the best thing that you can do, truly, I think, is ask for help. So I just want to encourage you to be asking for help. I want to encourage you this season to look like at ways that you can serve your community. Like I said, one thing we're going to do is we always make homemade cookies and party mix. We make pecan sandies. and this like party mix, and it's like the perfect combination eating them together. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And we are going to make some and give them to our neighbors. And I'm really trying to get to know our neighbors and just like, try to build community in my little neighborhood. And so this is one way we're going to do it. And I'm so excited. We're going to put our name on them and our phone numbers and our house number. And I think we might either like stop by and like knock and introduce ourselves, or we'll just drop it off. But either way, we are going to serve our community this year, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm really excited to shop for people this year. I'd like to think that I'm a good gift giver. I'd probably say I'm okay. But the thing that I like to do with giving gifts is I try to examine the person in their life. What do they spend time doing? What do they spend time reading? What do they spend time looking up? And then go off of there. And so, for example, my brother, he loves model trains. And so I'm looking up a model train thing to get him. Do I know anything about that? Absolutely not. But I'm looking at the buildings, the in-scale buildings, and I'm going to get him that. And I think my mother-in-law, she loves clocks. So I'm going to go try and find an antique clock at a store to give her. So it's not revolutionary, but sometimes you just need a reminder of how to shop for people. So think of things like that. And if there's somebody who has everything, I don't know what to shop for, always just go for like, I feel like a personalized item is always fun. It's always good. It just adds a little extra touch to something. I'm trying to think of what else gift-wise. The Eden makes a fantastic gift because it's under $20. It's a great stocking stuffer. I'll link it in the episode notes. You can get 10% off by using code POD if you want to get the Eden for somebody. It's a great holiday gift. Like I said, with shipping, under $20. So it's a great gift for the girl in your life, your sister, your friend, yourself. Stocking stuffer. It's perfect. And it's so cute. Like they'll look at this and be like, oh my gosh, this is like so fun and cute. A little Bible journaling exercise. Count me in. So it's just great. So there's some gift ideas for you. And, I said I was going to do a gift guide. I don't think so. There's a lot going on. I don't want to tell you to have to go buy one more thing, honestly. I know that I fall sometimes under the quote influencer category because I do try to influence you to buy things like the Uber Lube. You guys know that's the best lube in the entire world. The vibrator. It's the best vibrator. So I'm going to tell you the things that I love because I want you to love them. But I am never trying to tell you to go spend all your money doing something because we just don't have that. And even if you have it, we don't need to buy things all the time. There's too many things in our house already. I just know it. And there's too many things in your house too. So here's your sign to declutter as well. I have been decluttering nonstop. I actually said in front of Tate the other day, I didn't do this on purpose, but I was talking to Thomas and I was like, okay, we're going to go through the closet upstairs. Then I'm going to go through Tate's toys to get rid of them. And he broke down. I did not think he was listening to me. And he was like, don't get rid of Tate's toys. Don't throw away Tate's toys. Don't do it. No Tate toys. And I felt horrible. So Mom of the Year over here. That's me. Mom of the Year. Doing great. So anyways, go through your stuff and go sell them. At Once Upon a Child, if you're in the Durham, Raleigh area, Beanstalk is a great place to go sell stuff. You can make I shouldn't say make a lot of money. You can make some money. And it's great to just do some consignment shopping. I prefer consignment when shopping for my child because there's so many gently used clothes out there that is so great. And you can find really quality toys as well that people don't need anymore. So highly recommend. We've had the best luck at Once Upon a Child versus Goodwill. Although we did go to Goodwill this week and found 2 really insane Christmas plates. I'm so obsessed with them. One of them is a Spode one, and it is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to put cookies on the plate. Ugh, I love it. I love holiday season. It is my favorite. And now we get to celebrate my child's 2nd birthday on Christmas. So that's going to be really fun too. And I have threatened everybody in his life that if they do not separate out his birthday gifts versus his Christmas gifts, they will be on my no list, and I'll be very mad at them. So, we got some priorities here. Which, speaking of, probably need to plan my child's birthday party. So, Thomas, when you hear this, let's talk about that because I have a theme idea, but we've done nothing for it. So we should talk about that. Anyways, it's 1 year of Tibby. Happy birthday to my leg. I'm so sorry if you got the foot shot on YouTube and saw my dirty socks, but my leg is healed, and it healed in July, which was fantastic. But I've had a broken leg now for a year, and it's not even broken, it's healed, but it will forever be my broken leg. And I hope that you got something out of this podcast today as a reminder to be generous this holiday season and just enjoyed reminiscing with me about my broken leg. But thanks so much for listening to the podcast today and hanging out with me. I love you so much, and we will talk soon.